Welcome, Climate Viewers. This is Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News at ClimateViewer.com. And boy, we got a hot one for you today. Many of you have heard me talk about carbon black dust or black carbon and its relationship to geoengineering, chemtrails, plane farts, and everything in between. And we've got a stunning admission / omission by a prominent engineering website. I want to thank Dennis Nagel for dropping this link in chat. Your comments are always appreciated, so I do dig into all links. Links good. Thank you very much, Dennis. So please go ahead and get ready for a big one. Gently smush that like button, comment, subscribe. Sharing is caring. I appreciate it. Let's get into it. So I did a video 2 weeks ago, canceled Bill Gates solar geoengineering experiment, ScopeX. And this is basically where David Keith, Bill Gates and company were planning on floating a balloon out of Sweden to do a geoengineering experiment. And basically Sweden told them not happening here. So they had to postpone it. It's going to happen possibly in 2022 now. They're not going to flight their balloon in June, and that's a good thing. And of course, a lot of people were like, but chemtrails, Jim, what do you mean? What about the chemtrails? It's been going on for decades. Why are you so excited? Because I was like, great success and stuff. But of course, that's why I had to make a response video to that. And I put out Bill Gates, geoengineering, and chemtrails. And boy, did this one go long. If you don't know much about my history, the last decade of work I've done on the subject, there's an hour and 56 minutes, like 2 hours of me literally explaining all this stuff all over again from scratch. Appreciate you guys, and appreciate you smushing that like button. Bold as lion. Thanks, guys, in chat. But man, people still really don't get it. So this just, came out of the blue. And I really want to thank Dennis Nagel. I believe it's probably, if I hit newest comments, probably right up here at the top. There you go, Dennis. Let's blow you up, man. Everybody see right here. Oh, God, I blew it up one too many times. Wrong way, brother. Major fail. New one, oh, brother. Interestingengineering.com. And like I told him, on it tomorrow. So I'm on it like flies on cow pope. But regardless, here's the article. Ooh, I edited the page. I hacked the page to make the cover intro. So let's refresh that thing real quick, and you guys can see what it actually. This was by Brad Bergen on May 14th, 2021. So it just happened, hot off the press. This is 2 days old. A new solar powered method could help blot out the sun. Now, I don't know why anybody would get excited about a title like this. I mean, it's like the dude's like, could help blot out the sun. What kind of sick, not going to curse. Going to keep this family friendly. What kind of sick people would want to help blot out the sun? The idea involves injecting aerosols into the atmosphere to reduce the transmission of heat from the sun. Because sun and heat, bad for global warming. Make Greta Thunberg very mad. But regardless, how can we lift enough aerosols into the atmosphere in an efficient, sustainable way? Well, these dorks at this colleague and his colleague at the research at the University of Colorado suggesting mixing some black and brown carbon particles into the aerosols, which would naturally loft them into ideal altitude upon heating from the sun, according to a new study published in the journal Science Advances. This solar-powered method could significantly lower the necessary delivery altitude for stratospheric aerosol injection to heights achievable even with modern day aircraft. Um, mm, mm. Even with modern day aircraft, bringing us substantially closer to a viable means to combat climate change. No, there's no proof this will lead to a runaway freeze of global climate. Bruh. What kind of God complex do you scientific morons have that you think that there's no proof that this could cause a runaway freeze, not a runaway global warming? We're going to stop a runaway global warming. We're going to save the planet by blocking out the sun, but there's no proof this will lead to a runaway freeze of the global climate. There's also no proof that this will actually stop runaway global warming or any other runaway thing that you come up with. You guys are freaking lunatics. You cannot predict the weather tomorrow accurately. You dang sure can't predict the weather next week. You can't predict cloud cover on any given day ever. I will bet my left testicle on that. So how could you possibly know what's going to happen if you start dumping teragrams of freaking sulfur and black carbon into the atmosphere to blot out the sun? Now, the interesting thing about this, it's not funny at all, is that this is not a new idea. The minute I read the title, I was like, oh snap, the dude is going to mention carbon black dust and what is called photophoretic levitation or lofting. They're calling lofting here. This is not a new idea. I've known about this for a decade. Don't believe me? It's even in the freaking citations. Check this crap out. So I said, I'm betting, I will bet, again, same left testicle, that David Keith is in this joker. All right? So we come down here to the bottom, and we actually have to go over to the paper. We go to the paper. So this is the actual paper. Towards practical stratospheric albedo modification, solar-powered lofting. Okay? And you can see the people here, these, technocrat morons who think that they did a good math simulation and it's all good, because we did some modeling. You can see their modeling here. Inject 2 teragrams of sulfur dioxide and 0.5 teragrams of soot. Oh, by the way, soot and carbon black dust are often interchangeably used incorrectly. But regardless, inject all these chemicals, one model grid box at 13.5 kilometers, injecting during 10-day June 1st through June 10th per year. And then they also, do a whole bunch of other models. And of course, because they put numbers into a computer, they got to be right. So there's no proof that this will cause a runaway freeze. There's also no proof it will stop global warming. And there's no proof these people know anything about what the hell they're talking about. But back to what I was saying about this isn't a new idea. So immediately upon seeing this BS went, this has got David Keith's stank written all over it. Why am I saying this? Didn't I just mention that David Keith and Bill Gates, program got stopped? That Bill Gates and David Keith's ScopeX experiment that was supposed to happen in June got stopped. And then magically they flip the script and they go, back to that other idea, the one where we use airplanes to geoengineer the planet. Yeah, let's do that thing. So I was like, where's David Keith? Oh, there he is. David Keith, solar geoengineering is a part of an overall strategy to meeting the 1.5 degrees Celsius Paris target. David W. Keith, photophoretic levitation of engineered aerosols for geoengineering, 2010. I told you, over a decade old. Think I'm kidding. Photophoretic Levitation of Engineered Aerosols for Geoengineering by David W. Keith. That's it. Just him. University of Calgary. David Keith. 2010. And what he basically is talking about here is, here I examine the possibility that engineered nanoparticles could exploit photophoretic forces, enabling more control over particle distribution and lifetime than possible with sulfates, perhaps allowing climate engineering to be accomplished with fewer side effects. The use of electrostatic or magnetic materials enables a class of photophoretic forces not found in nature. Photophoretic levitation could loft particles above the stratosphere, reducing their capacity to interfere with the ozone chemistry. Bruh, I mean, you gotta go through the ozone layer to get to the freaking stratosphere. It's the troposphere, the tropopause, the ozone layer, the stratosphere. To get to the freaking stratosphere, you gotta go through the ozone layer. So how do you get all these freaking chemicals into the stratosphere to block out the sun without screwing with the ozone layer? You're all morons. You think we're stupid. Oh my God. But anyway, so David Keith came up with this stupid idea 11 years ago, and it's new news now. All of a sudden today, right here today, a new solar powered method could help blot out the sun because we says so. Just that's the case because we says so. Published today, on the 14th, got to be something special here, right? I mean, we did all of our research. I mean, look at how many freaking citations we've got here. I mean, you got to know you're dealing with some brilliant geniuses when you've got, here's the references. Starting at 1, we got all the way down here. We got, oh my God, 38, 40, 43 separate, citations on this paper. All about how good an idea it is, from fires, aerosols from burning forest fires showing up in the atmosphere to, all kinds of stuff. Even one with a Russian rocket that literally ended up, in the stratosphere. It's just, you should go through and if you got the time, you should go through and read some of these citations. They will crack you up. Okay. Let me do this. Chance encounter with stratospheric kerosene rocket plume from Russia over California. So that's an example of, hey, we happen to run into, we ran into some Russian rocket plumes over California up in the stratosphere. Okay. So, because they think they can do it, it's a great idea, because global warming is a really bad thing. And, if we don't stop it, we don't block the sun out, we're all screwed. So, there's no proof that it won't freeze the planet and end up like Snowpiercer. If you don't know what Snowpiercer is, go watch either the TV show or the movie. But basically it didn't end too well. Let's just put it that way. So, I'm looking at this, I'm shaking my darn head ridiculously. And I'm looking at some of the other citations. Also, David Keith, 2018, production of sulfates on board an aircraft, implications for cost and feasibility of stratospheric solar geoengineering. Why am I bringing all this up? Because way back in 2017, okay, black carbon from aircraft exhaust is destroying the ozone, melting the poles. Now, I did this video back in 2017 because this was some groundbreaking crap to come out. Though airborne, black carbon is known to dissipate and settle down in a few months under the influence of rain and wind and is unlikely to travel upward of 4 kilometers. However, a group of scientists, including from the Indian Institute of Science and ISRO Vikram Sarabhi's Space Center say they have now evidence of such particles, carbon particles, existing up to 18 kilometers into the stratosphere, and there are about 10,000 of them in every cubic centimeter. Okay? 10,000 black carbon particles per cubic centimeter. Given the shape and location of these particles, they argue it could only derive from emissions from aviation fuel. And they pose a problem because these black carbon particles can linger long enough to provide a fertile ground for other chemical reactions that can deplete the ozone layer. Do you think that's air you're breathing? Well, do you, punk? Bruh. Your organic garden is getting peed on by chemical soup. I mean, unless your organic garden is sequestered under a big plastic tent and no rain has fallen on it, I would not trust it. Bruh. So I wanted to bring this up because I appreciate everybody in chat. I am looking healthy. I'm looking pretty darn sexy right now, I must say. And I got my muscles back, feeling kind of beefy. Got my shoulder. Look at this. Look, I got shoulder lines again. What the heck, bruh? I mean, ooh. Been doing push-ups, going back to mixed martial arts, my stuff on, feeling good. Like I should. I'm not in my Sunday best. I just got this, just rocking this today. I could dress up for y'all, but, this is a very professional show I'm trying to do here. So please, gotta wear the right stuff. But anyway, back to the thing. So this is the article, actually the scientific paper, because I like to give you guys the scientific papers because, I am not scientist. I am just a very nosy person who actually understands all the big words. And I try to translate these big words so that you can go and translate these big ideas to all of these American idiots. And if you're not from America, of course, you can translate it to any of your local idiots. Possible climatic implications of high altitude black carbon emissions. So I'd like to send this paper from the Indian Space Organization to these morons because clearly they have not done their holy homework and don't understand or are paid not to understand that lofting chemicals into the stratosphere to block out the freaking sunlight using carbon black dust that's already coming out of jet engines, because when you burn jet fuel, black carbon soot and all that stuff is mixed with sulfur dioxide and ends up in the stratosphere at, let's just go back through the little numbers here real quick. Here's the short and skinny. This is from India Today, August 16th, 2017. And what are their highlights? Highlights from the report. We thought black carbon didn't make it above 4 kilometers. However, scientists have found evidence of black carbon existing up to 18 kilometers in the stratosphere, and there's about 10,000 of them in every cubic centimeter. And keeping in mind the shape and location of these particles, researchers believe that it could only derive from emissions from jet fuel, aviation fuel. So jet fuel is putting frickin' black carbon and sulfur dioxide in the stratosphere. It is screwing with the ozone layer. Problem posed by black carbon. Black carbon poses a problem because these particles can linger long enough to provide a fertile ground for other chemical reactions that can deplete the frickin' ozone layer. Okay, so maybe maybe I'm just crazy, but I thought we were trying to save the ozone layer. Well, let's save us from global warming, but screw the ozone layer. Enjoy the sunburn. Gonna suck. But it couldn't cause a runaway freeze. No, we know exactly what we're doing. We're gonna figure out the math and we're gonna punch them all into our little computer models. And what could go wrong? Because Windows Millennium, that shit was great. I just cursed. See, I get heated when I deal with idiots who have PhDs because they are, I'm not going to say what PhD stands for. Let's just say it's P words hiding behind diplomas. I'll let you figure out what P words is, but they're P words hiding behind diplomas. These PhDs with their little computer models think that we're all stupid. But we're not stupid. You know, you got a gut, you got a brain, and you can do a little bit of research. I'm not special. I mean, I'm very special. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, I do all my own programming. I'm a graphics artist. I'm a 3D designer. I could do a show like this and just rant and rave about it. I read the crap. I understand the crap. I look up the Google stuff. Have I heard of Mike Morales' YouTube channel? Mike Morales is my homeboy, Adam Baum. Don't you know? Me and Mike, like Ike and Mike, like that. Always have been, always will be. Shout out to Underground World News. If you haven't heard of them, please subscribe. Make sure you subscribe over here too. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do. While you're hitting that subscribe button, click that bell and smush, just gently give a smush to that like button if you like it. If you don't like it, smush the dislike button. I really don't give a damn. Either way, it doesn't really matter because I'm shadow banned. So let's just go ahead and move on past that. Everything I'm doing is free of charge, open source. You can basically download this freaking video and do whatever you want to with it. I mean, if you can, organic LED paint this on your butt cheek, you're free to do so. Because it's free. My website's free. My videos are free. If you'd like to support what I'm doing, all for free, you can do that with a one-time donation on Cash App or PayPal, or you can hit me up on the Patreon or the GoFundMe, links in the details. But make sure to come back to my homepage over here on YouTube, Jim Lee ClimateViewer, and give a sub, because I'm trying to grow this thing one way or another. And the only way I'm going to do that is if we somehow overcome the shadow ban. It's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt. Even Mike Morales has, got a ton of subscribers, and they have literally stripped him of every YouTube dollar he ever had. So it's hard. Yeah, I'm struggling over here. Help a bugger out. But anyway, let's get back to let's summarize this. So why does all this matter? Since black carbon particles are strongly absorb solar and terrestrial radiation and heats up the atmosphere, I thought the whole point was to stop global warming. It can upset the monsoon system. If they get deposited on snow, it could lead to accelerated heating of the snow and quickening of the melting of glaciers. My God. So, I mean, seriously, all right, so let's just summarize. They want to do geoengineering. David Keith and Bill Gates want to float a balloon over Sweden. They were going to float it over Arizona. That didn't happen. Then they were going to float it at this Swedish space place, and they said no to that too. And David Keith's balloon was going to first go up and do some maneuvering. They were going to test the little balloon out, and then they were going to spray some calcium carbonate to test out geoengineering. That got shut down. They're going to try it again next year. But they're going back to the same idea of black carbon dust. Carbon black dust. Carbon black dust. Keep saying it. CBD. I'm not talking about that kind of CBD. We're talking about the chemtrail kind of CBD. Oh, God, now I'm going to get one of them stupid little flags on my video. One of these idiot bumper stickers. Contrail. I know he didn't say any. Oh, he did say chemtrail. He said chemtrail. We got to put contrail. I don't care what you call it. We've been through this before. Chemtrail, contrail, plain fart, geoengineering, aviation induced cloudiness. How about that for you PhDs, your P words hiding behind your diplomas? You can use whatever terminology you want. Blocking out the sun, bad. Putting chemicals into the sky to block out the sun, bad. Putting chemicals into sky to make clouds that end up screwing with the ozone layer, and black carbon that deposits on the poles that melt the poles. Oh, wait, you always wanted to melt the poles. You're not fooling anybody. All of this history is on weathermodificationhistory.com. Furthermore, there was this admission from Charles Long from NOAA's Earth Systems Research Lab. This is on Smithsonian Magazine. Airplane contrails may be creating accidental geoengineering. So we're still stuck in this funky place where the people hiding behind their diplomas want to play with words. They want to do all this wordplay. It's accidental geoengineering. Now, David Keith and Bill Gates trying to float a balloon, that's geoengineering. Boats making clouds, jet aircraft making clouds, carrying chemicals laced with metals and sulfur and black carbon, ending up at 18 kilometers in the stratosphere, 10,000 per cubic centimeter. It's all accident. It's accidental geoengineering. GTFO. All right. You can't make this stuff up. And I'm really sick of, dealing with their silliness. But basically, that's what Chuck Long is saying, that basically like an ice haze, where is it at? This haze is caused by airplanes and it's gradually whitening blue skies, says Charles Long of NOAA's Earth System Research Laboratory in Boulder, Colorado. Boulder, Colorado. These dudes. University of Colorado. Boulder, Colorado. You see it. What's in Colorado? NCAR. National Corporation for Atmospheric Research. Top weather modification university on the planet. Not a coincidence. But regardless, so we might be actually conducting some unintentional geoengineering here. Wait a minute, I thought it was called accidental geoengineering. Unintentional, accidental. The word control is really just getting to me at this point because everything is clearly evident that geoengineering is occurring as a result of jet aircraft fuel and international shipping fuel, bunker fuel, ship tracks, and contrail-induced cirrus clouds. Marine stratocumulus, let's get this straight, marine stratocumulus clouds created by ships and contrail-induced cirrus clouds made by airplanes, both of which are geoengineering our planet and have been for over 60 years. They being the people hiding behind their diploma, technocrat, PhD morons, still have no understanding. Very little, slim to none understanding of how that's impacting the climate. But they want to go further and dump teragrams on purpose. By the way, Jim, don't take the shot. Bro, I am not taking the shot. In fact, I have no reason to take the shot because I already had my coronavirus back in January 2020. And interestingly enough, my wife, myself, and my youngest daughter, who was 3 at the time, we all got symptoms, and my 10-year-old at the time did not. And then you flash forward from January 2020 when I ended up, going to the hospital because I was having trouble breathing. They're like, but you have inflamed thyroid. Maybe your thyroid's cutting off your ability to breathe. And I was like, I'm not sure about that. But regardless, now I've had my thyroid removed. And when I went to go get my thyroid removed, They did the whole nose swab thing. I am still immune to coronavirus a year and 3 months, 4 months later. So why would I need to wear a mask or go and get a shot when I'm already have a natural immunity to it? Furthermore, if you're stupid enough to go out and take a shot for a flu virus, because the coronavirus is a freaking flu virus. And if any of you have done any listening at all, every single freaking year, they will tell you the flu virus vaccine this year is only X percentage effective. Why? Because these things constantly mutate. And they will always try to mutate because they want to live. And if we're making chemicals and building immunities that kill them, then they will find a way. Jurassic Park. Life will find a way. So viruses are always going to mutate. The flu mutates, the common cold mutates, the coronavirus gonna mutate. They're all, in fact, flu and coronavirus, it's just Rona 19. There's 30 other ones. There's no reason to take the vaccine. Don't take that. And if you really want a reason not to take the vaccine, go back and watch any documentary. There are many of them on YouTube about the swine flu epidemic in 1976, the year I was born, and all of the class action lawsuits that happened as a result of the hundreds of thousands of people who were harmed from those rushed vaccines that the government was making commercials convincing people to take. Not going to take it. Not going to be there. I'm occasionally going to see, I'm reading all the comments while trying to focus on this. And bro, I just had to throw that out there. You know, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. People, I swear, just not educated by history. But if you want to be educated by history, please go over to weathermodificationhistory.com. Go to the interactive timeline, click the little tags button right here and click on carbon black dust. And what you will see is that there has been a long history of people talking about using carbon black dust. And we'll start at the bottom right here. Back in 1958, Dr. Florence Van Straten, Navy scientist, creates clouds and breaks them up using carbon black dust. Using carbon black dust to melt the poles, 1958. And nuclear-powered propellers to push hot water up there. Using carbon black dust to steer hurricanes, 1976. Weather modification by carbon dust absorption of solar energy. A couple Freedom of Information Act requests from the United States military. This one's from the Air Force. This one's from Navy. And this one is from both. Counterforce Weather Control. Using carbon black dust. Department of Homeland Security Hurricane Modification Workshop. Masha Alamaro talking about using carbon black dust to do what? To steer hurricanes. Dr. Arnold Barnes talking about weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025. Talking about, wait for it, using carbon black dust to do weather modification. Weather modification using carbon black. Increase precipitation, decrease precipitation, and wait for it, increase cirrus cloud cover. Using carbon black to make chemtrails, to make cirrus clouds, to deny visual satellite or high altitude reconnaissance, or to make it darker at night for nighttime operations by blocking out the moon. So blocking out satellites, blocking out the moon, obviously blocking out the sun. It's all the same to them. It's making frickin' cirrus clouds using carbon black dust. That's why the military says they want to do it. Those are the facts. You're not going to hear these facts on any other channel on the freaking internet, any other video on the freaking internet, and you're damn sure not going to read these documents anywhere because they were deleted from the internet. I got this from Wayback Machine, directly off of the military website it came from, and it was army.mil. I'm not making this up. As you can see right here in the links, I have the original right here somewhere. In mod carbon black, and it's all in there. Actually, I have this over on the other article. Yeah. Yeah. Where did I put it? All that stuff with all the Bill Gates patents to go along with it. So you can actually see about hurricane hacking in the Department of Homeland Security and all of that sort of stuff. Oh, that's where it was. Now I remembers. It was on the InMod page on this one. Good Lord. I'm making a mess. Making a freaking mess, bruh. So I did actually include, I don't know why I didn't put it on here. All right, here you go. No. This thing right here. You go here and you can see that I got this original document from archive.org, and it's called Test Technology Symposium 97, The Army After Next, How Will We Test? And it is from the Phillips Laboratory, Hanscom Air Force Base. And this is the original paper directly from archive.org. And these are the kinds of things that I find that nobody else has. There's the original PowerPoint file. And you can see right here, cloud seeding and cloud seeding continued. Click that. And then bam, that's where I got it from. And as you can notice, my copy's even better than this one right here because I got a better copy. Okay. I just got a better copy. You know, I found an even better version of the exact same thing. But this is from dtc.army.mil/TTS/1997/proceed/Arnold Barnes/slide 10.htm. Bro, did I just break off some knowledge for you guys? So black carbon dust, carbon black dust, CBD. I've gone through this multiple times. I've been talking about it for the better part of a decade. I've been hated by fellow chemtrail advocates that don't understand. Yeah, wash hands. I'm going to wash my hands and then I'm going to brush my shoulders off because I've been telling you guys for over 10 years, jet fuel. Not you don't need all these fancy pipes. You don't need all these fancy pumps, all these pictures that you keep seeing, the chemtrail on off switch. That is possible. But Delta Airlines and Southwest and all of them, they're just as much to blame for this problem. It's all about what's in that fuel tank. And that fuel tank is filled with metals and chemicals that end up making clouds that screw with the world, and that the military wants the ability to control the cloud layer, and that the geoengineering people hiding behind their diplomas, technocrat morons, want to convince the world that it's in their best interest to block out the sun, while at the same time saying get off of fossil fuels and go to solar energy. If you don't see the idiocy of simultaneously saying, go to solar energy and renewables, but block out the sun because we need to cool the planet, then you're a moron. And there are very, very many morons out there today. And I am so proud of you climate viewers for not being part of the moron lemming crew. Now, regardless of your political ideology, we live in a politically heated tribal world right now. Regardless of your political ideology, the weather does not give one damn about your feelings or your opinions. The climate does not care about your feelings. The people who are trying to control the weather and climate don't care about your feelings. Why? Because they've been able to modify the weather and screw with it for over a century. Over a century, they have been screwing with the weather without any accountability. And it's high time that we bring some of that accountability. And I've started by drafting the Environmental Modification Accountability Act. You can find that at climateviewer.com/nmod. And this is a step in the right direction. It's giving teeth to the weather warfare ban that's already in place at the United Nations. But generally speaking, I abhor all things United Nations because that's just the globalist one world government. That's what, all the technocrats' wet dreams all about. So we need to come up with a local state by state version of this as well. But we need to hold their feet to the fire and get accountability. Because at the end of the day, I get a comment. Jetliners don't hold 30,000 gallons. Do you understand that it doesn't matter how much fuel is in a plane when there are over 120,000 flights per day? I'm waiting for your response. Bob. 120,000 flights per day. You cannot even fathom the amount of chemicals that come out of 120,000 flights per day. And that's not even accounting for all of them. That's just the big ones. Okay? And we're not accounting for rockets either. By the way, whenever the space shuttle took off, each solid rocket booster would drop 350,000 tons of aluminum oxide into the sky. And think about all the rockets that are sending up satellites on a daily basis. Nobody has a clue how bad it really is. And we need to, really wrap our heads around what's going on and stop, looking for the latest conspiracy theory, trying to, if you're into fear porn and that's your thing, go for it. This ain't the channel for you. I am not your info frickin-tainment. I am here because I care about this stuff and I want my children to grow up in a world where they can see the stars at night and the sun still comes out in the day and the sky is not bright frickin' white and the entire world's weather is not controlled by a group of elitist, possibly Scientologist, technocrat, one world government, council on foreign relations, techno trash, people hiding behind their diplomas. So that's why I do what I do. So, carbon black dust used to transport sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. It's new news. And it's hot off the press. Tell your friends. By the way, just for your friendly reminder, there's no proof this will lead to runaway freeze of the global climate. Hope you all feel well about this. I know I do. So, I'm really at a loss for words. But this really makes me mad. And it's insulting because they are psychopaths. I mean, think of it this way. During the Manhattan Project, I was just creating metal tubes. I wasn't actually making a bomb. Why? Because compartmentalization. Like the movie Snowpiercer, they all thought it was a great idea to block out the sun. The movie Terminator. or no, the Matrix. We don't know who struck first, but we do know that it was us that blocked out the sun because we thought that it would shut the machines off. There are so many references to this in movies. There are level-headed people like Dr. Alan Robox who've literally listed out 20 reasons why geoengineering is a bad idea. There are groups like the ETC group who founded geoengineeringmonitor.org that are pushing back against these geoengineering projects. They got David Keith and Bill Gates' project stopped. But even they will not touch this subject of the chemtrails, plane farts, contrail cirrus, aviation-induced cloudiness, ship tracks, marine stratocumulus clouds. Nobody's willing to really talk about this, to talk about what's really going on. And Terminator. I know. I started to go there, but I was just like, let's just move on. Better one, Matrix. So at the end of the day, it's going to be incumbent on us, the small group of dedicated individuals who will change the planet, to be highly educated about this topic. And if you want to just go 50%, or as my grandma would say, half-ass, then you're going to, you'll see somebody else do it one day. But I want to be that change. That's why I'm doing everything I can to get as healthy as I can so I can go to Washington and get in some faces. So I can go to Boulder, Colorado and get in some faces and do some interviews and ask some questions to some people who think they're really freaking smart, but aren't as smart as they sound. And, if anybody watches my comments, you'll see occasionally the trolls really have died off lately. I kind of miss my trolls. They used to come and harass me regularly, but I started a new policy of just going, debate me or STFU. And of course they immediately tuck tail, throw poo and run away. Because at the end of the day, I will, and this is still to this day, my open challenge to any troll, any person, any PhD holder, any geoengineer, to David Keith himself, to anybody on the planet. I will debate you on this topic about geoengineering, whether it's a good idea or it's a bad idea, whether it's happening already, and whether you're freaking crazy to push this idea, even though, David Keith, you admit that it will kill many tens of thousands of people. It's an open invitation to an ass handing from Jim Lee to you. You can bring your own moderator. But other than that, I generally hate talking about the topic of chemtrails, contrails, and that sort of what they call accidental geoengineering, because A, it's really freaking complicated. B, most people can't understand the science behind it. And C, it would take 4 to 5 hours to get through all the stuff that I have not even mentioned. Like the FAA and such testing biofuels and, all of the things, burn all the things. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please smush that like button, be gentle to it. Mine is very, tender. Just, give it, reach right in there and give it a little smush. And leave a comment. You can tell me to screw off, or you can tell me how you feel. Please, if you're going to leave a comment and you're one of those people like Dennis Nagel that sent me this article and you nosy and you see it before me, send it to me on the YouTube. Send it to me, jim@climateviewer.com. I'm always checking up on those. And the ones that really matter, they're definitely going to get a video. And this one really matters because it's going full circle. It's going all the way back to David Keith, 2010, with his idea of floating chemicals into the sky and me going back there in 2010. But that's already happening. And I know that you guys know this too. We all know it. I mean, all you have to do is look up. If you want to see climate change, look up. It's happening over your house. If you change the weather over a long enough period of time, you change the climate. And in other news right now, they said that because climate change, India is getting hit with monsoon right now as we speak. It's going to be hitting like in the next day or two, because climate change. But right there next door to India is the United Arab Emirates, who are now paying more than anybody on the planet to go out and modify their weather. United Arab Emirates, UAE. And magically, that's where the, typhoons are coming from. So probably do a video on that. Mop that one up, because there's several companies over there that claim to steer those hurricanes in the area. And maybe we should do a little update on that next week. But regardless, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate everybody. Smush that like, comment, subscribe, donate if you can. It's always appreciated. Hit you back on next Sunday. I was feeling kind of down last Sunday because I really worked myself to death on Saturday. Plus it was Mother's Day, so I had to grill for 4 or 5 mothers at my house. My wife has many sisters and a mom that all showed up at my house. I was grilling ribs all day long. It was freaking delicious. But life will get in the way sometimes. I do hope to be making that variety show here in the near future. Still working on Weather Mod History 2.0. I can't wait to freaking show you that. And Google Scholar is going to have a fit when it, runs its little scans on it. So much to come in the future. All this information was provided to you for free. And with information comes power, and with power comes great responsibility. So please remember to take these ideas and this power to attack ideas, not people. Love you, mean it. If this video resonates with you, leave me a comment, because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. The bell doesn't always work, so come to ClimateViewer.com and sign up for our newsletter. Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.